Before coming to India, I thought that the older generation will not be as digital agnostic.
But then you saw me, right?
Then I saw many people in the hotel.
What makes it worth committing to India at this point of time from the group perspective?
Simplicity is the ultimate complexity.
The impetus to invest in a virtual digital asset is usually because of Gen Next coming in and saying you should look at this.
Because if you go and sit now with an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and you say, oh, have you invested? He will not say, I have gold. He most likely will say, I have a little bit of Bitcoin.
Is it going to be increasingly usage of AI, which is going to be a mode?
Because we have seen now Claude doing a lot of remote kind of work, and everybody's thinking, okay, if AI has developed a little bit, maybe there is a coin that allows to do a little bit more. Because don't forget, Ethereum was a coin that allows to write a language inside and a code. So maybe there is a lot of belief on AI again in the digital asset space.
The views expressed in this podcast are for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or investment advice. Listeners are advised to conduct their own research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Crypto products and virtual digital assets are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss arising from such transactions. Prices are volatile, and users should conduct their own research before investing. For the purposes of this podcast, the terms crypto assets, digital assets, cryptocurrency, and virtual digital assets, VDAs, are used interchangeably and broadly refer to blockchain-based digital assets and cryptographic tokens.
Hello and welcome. Our guest today is Dr. Demetrios Zamboglou. Dr. Demetrios Zamboglou is the Group Chief Executive Officer of BitDelta and a globally recognized leader in digital assets and regulated financial markets. With over 2 decades of international experience across institutional trading, risk governance, and executive leadership, he is known for building scalable, compliance-led organizations designed to navigate complex regulatory environments and market volatility. At BitDelta, he is driving the company's global growth strategy with a focus on institutional-grade infrastructure, deep liquidity, operational resilience, and trusted governance standards. It's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Demetrios Zamboglou, Group Chief Executive Officer of the BitDelta Group. There are a lot of professional qualifications and I've already introduced him to you. But what struck me the most about Demetrios was when I looked at his website and I saw 3 words: God, family, country. I'd like to start off with that. It's something which is very warm, very human, very connected, but not very. It's very unusual to see in the profile of a global personality like yours. Give us some insight into that.
I do believe there is a God. There is someone out there. I mean, in the end of the day, someone created this world we're living. For sure, God is in my heart. And as you know, yesterday I went and visited a temple and a church, I believe. And I did also my thinking there. Because as you can understand, we all have some things that we need to talk or meditate in a way ourselves with someone more on the spiritual side. Then family. Family has been very important, and it comes from my father. It's very important for the family to be connected. And this is what I was trying to tell even before the cameras is country and family. If the family is involved with the country, then the country becomes family, or the family becomes the country. So they're very interconnected words. And of course, I am from Cyprus, so there will always be love for my country, where I was brought up, my friends, and how I ended up in my new journey. So country is always a very big part of me. My friends I also call family. There is like 2 or 3 friends of mine that they are very, very big in my life. And of course, not to forget my brother. My brother is like my rock. So it's very important not to forget my brother in this conversation. And I'm sure he will like it as well.
It's such a nice way. The last time I heard the definition of GFC, it was completely different. Now it's God, family, country. So I guess that changes the perspective completely. And I must tell you that as a country, we wear all 3 on our sleeve: God, family, and country. As a nation, that is what resonates the most with us. So you're at home literally and figuratively.
I thought you guys like to study more. Maybe we will tell funny stories about my study group in the university and connecting with my friends nowadays, even in India, because some of them were from here.
Yeah. You were telling me you have some friends from India who were there in the
From India,
universities.
yes. One is in New York, one is in Bangalore.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Yes.
That's where we're going to have our next office.
Oh, that's amazing for the group. So you heard it first here.
Yeah.
And the other one is in, I will say again, probably New Delhi, because his family is in manufacturing, but we will find out. So one is in New York, one is in Bangalore, and the other one most likely will be in New Delhi.
That's interesting. So we have an office in New Delhi, we have one in Bangalore coming up. So the next one could be New York, going by this timeline. But coming back to your professional journey, you stepped into this role recently after almost 2 decades of experience, more than 2 decades of experience. What made you make this move, this right move?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. There is no groups out there, maybe a few groups out there that combine the global markets and the digital markets. So BitDelta has both foundations because, as you know, the group is a fintech group. So you do not have to choose, do you go more on global markets or do you go more on the digital markets? I believe towards the near future, I mean the next 5, 10, 20 years, that these two industries, they will be converging. And we've seen recently RWAs. When I first heard about RWAs, I thought they were property deeds, title deeds. And nowadays, when people talk about RWAs, they talk about tokenized stocks or tokenized equities. So we are going towards that road. The other beautiful thing about BitDelta is that it has very good people, and there is very big talent here. And there is a force that people want to drive the company forward. And this is something I really, really like. And I will say to the founders and the owners of the group that they are not only words. If they say something, they do it. And they ask when it will be done, and they check if it's done or not. This is very, very rare in this kind of organization. So they care. And care comes with a lot of responsibility. Again, I wasn't actively looking to join a group. And when this opportunity happened, I mean, it ticked all the boxes. So I'm very proud to be here.
Somewhere it resonates with me as well. When I've also come on board a few months ago. And one of the things which really resonated with me was the promoters and the sincerity and the passion which they brought to the entire category, the entire company. And yes, I agree, bunch of wonderful people to work with. And now that you are inside the company, you are experiencing the same energy, the same passion which you viewed from outside?
More.
Oh, that's nice.
I think today the word we liked, both of us, was curiosity. Correct. We have a lot of curious people that they actually want to learn. And they want to learn many things. They want to learn more about product, more about marketing, more about investing, more about trading. And these people are very curious. So it's amazing. We need to allow these people to develop and to be in a level that they will be teaching us how to be more curious as well.
That's wonderful. And since you talked about curiosity, there's a lot of curiosity about the category globally as well as in India. But I'm going to ask you to put on your global hat a few more times before we zoom on into India. How do you think this category has evolved across the globe over the last few years? If you can give us some insight in terms of how the journey has been, it will be very nice.
Okay. I think we all know about the Satoshi white paper. So the Satoshi white paper was out there, and then people were trying to think how they will be able to purchase this kind of coin. Let's call it a cryptocurrency coin. And then they built this Mt. Gox and this couple of exchanges, and then some of them failed, and they're still repaying back the users, the customers. And then slowly, it started evolving and it became what is called cryptocurrency exchanges. There was no regulation in the beginning. A lot of these things were running without a lot of regulation. And then the more it started developing, the more liquidity they were getting to this kind of trading engines, the more people were getting involved, the people were trading. I mean, we have seen a lot of verticals. We have seen crypto credit cards, we have seen crypto loans, we have seen derivative trading, we have seen staking, we have seen a lot of things. I mean, nowadays people are building decentralized exchanges. But all of this technology will not have been possible without the clients. So the clients wanted something like this. So this is why they became the users. They wanted something that they will have control, they will be able to trade, they will have it in their wallets. It will be, of course, challenging the traditional finance space. And nowadays we've seen traditional financial institutions joining also this virtual asset world, let's call it. But what is fascinating that the more you build for the client, the more you will see clients being interacting with your product, because this is what they want to see. And AI also is something new as well. And we will see these apps having also AI. On the other side of you, and we talked about the traditional finance and some of the biggest brokers we've seen in the US. I mean, I will not mention names, not for them to get the credit, but the big one that has zero fees for the clients also joined now the crypto world, and they are seeing tremendous growth in the digital asset space. So if you listen what the client wants and you're touching upon these hypes, then it's the best position to be as a company.
Very interesting. You mentioned crypto loans, crypto credit cards. That's quite interesting to see how things have evolved globally.
Decentralization as well.
Decentralization. So would you say that globally,
Yes.
crypto as an asset class is more of a push by people who are creating these products, or is it evolving because of a pull, because of clients asking for it? I heard you talk about clients.
Yeah.
So which is it? Is it more push or pull right now?
I think it's a combination. Again, because we were also going to be talking about market cycles and hypes, what is happening and how this world is evolving and how this world is moving towards the future. I mean, it's a combination of both push and pull. It wouldn't be the same if we didn't have this demand from the client. And if there is not a lot of demand, we wouldn't be seeing market cycles. So it's definitely a combination.
Why I asked you this question is because most of the evolution which has happened in India, from the alternates perspective, the alternate assets perspective, it has happened because the client has asked for it.
Yes.
So, new ideas are coming in, new templates are being drawn up because clients are exposed to what's happening globally and they say, can we get that done in India?
Yeah.
Through their wealth managers. So that's the reason why I asked you. But you're saying that this is more of a balanced approach. There's as much push as pull.
I will tell you an example. I mean,
Sure.
Wouldn't it be nicer in India to have flying cars? And we wouldn't be in the traffic. But then again, if we had new roads and the traffic became half the time, and then we had new traffic lights and the traffic lights allowed less traffic, and then have flying cars, it will still be okay. We do not need to go from day 1 to day 2 with so much speed. It is fine. I mean, if you ask the people in the street, do you want to be in a flying car? How many of them will say yes? I don't think all of them will say yes. But if you tell them, will it be nicer to have a bullet train in India that takes me from one city to the other instead of 10 hours to be 1 hour? Everybody will say yes.
Interesting. Again, you talked about technology, you talked about
Yes.
flying cars and bullet trains. In terms of this category, in terms of this industry, let me put it this way, the crypto industry, it seems to be fairly evolved on the technology side. I mean, there are moves which are being made, there are things which are being planned, which is fairly ahead of the curve in terms of technology. What I want to ask you is, a moonshot in terms of technology is one thing, but is the industry also keeping up operationally to catch up with these ideas at a global level? Do you think that the execution is happening as fast as the ideas are? I'm just alluding to an example of flying cars and traffic lights.
No, we had this discussion, and with a very good friend of mine, Anton, that we also do a podcast. We had this discussion. Many of these ideas are actually old ideas from cryptography.
Oh,
yes, many of these ideas, they're very old ideas, and they are just repackaged. Because we're also researchers, and we also were thinking, oh my God, who is this smart person, and how did he create this idea? And wow, how smart is he? He hasn't studied in the best universities. How did he come across this amazing idea? And there is literature about this kind of ideas. And it goes back to cryptography, and it goes back to the security part of cryptography. And then there is all of these projects that happened in the past and all of this research. And much of it is just repackaged. I mean, you can go to Google Scholar and you can write cryptography, and then you can see the latest papers in cryptography.
Very interesting.
But most likely you will not be also a cryptography expert, so you will not understand 90%.
That's what AI is for.
But AI will definitely help you to understand much more things than it was before. And nowadays, back to the researchers, I mean, what is original research and what is not original research? And this is where AI will play a big part, but also it will be challenging.
You mentioned AI,
Yes.
and we are talking about competition.
Yes.
Today there's a lot of competition globally.
Yes.
I think this is a fairly established category. Crypto exchanges, virtual digital asset exchanges.
Yes.
What do you think differentiates or could be the differentiating factor between the key players? What is their moat? And why I'm asking you this is it going to be increasingly usage of AI which is going to be a moat, or is it something which is inherent in the platform which can be a moat?
Oh, this is a very, very good question. And I think we've seen from the past that people want to trade and invest themselves, because we had robo-advisors in the US for the last 10, 15 years, maybe more, maybe even more, maybe 20 years. And we have Charles Schwab, to mention a titan in the industry that developed, but it didn't get so much traction as they hoped. And there is a case study from Harvard Business School about Charles Schwab and about these robo-advisors, because I was reading it in the past because of social trading, which social trading is a mixture of this robo-advisory thing. I think people will still want to trade themselves and they want to take decisions themselves. But AI, probably it will be positioned in the near future as the assistant, the guy who can answer many of your questions and can help you do what you want to do. So this will be AI's role. But I do not know how the future. Maybe in the future the AI will trade themselves. We need to see. But the way we are going, I think the AI will be the assistant.
And on a global level,
Yes.
when people go to trade, invest in a exchange, what in their minds differentiates one exchange from the other?
I mean, you have a lot of things. You have, first of all, the customer experience. It's a very, very big thing. Customer experience is a very big science. And traditionally, it used to be done by very big universities in the US. I mean, if you go and see very big brokers, they had very good professors from the universities. Now everybody has access to AI. So now you can start challenging stuff. Now you can start simulating things. So the user journey can be very, very, very frictionless. And this is something that we're also doing in our organization. So let's say I want to do a screen and I believe it's good, the product doesn't believe it's good. Then what do? We simulate. And then this simulation tells us which from the two of us is right. But again, we're challenging our others not to win or not to fail. We're challenging each other for the company to be successful. And it's good. If I did something wrong, then I learned something new. If let's say the head of product did something wrong, then she's learning something new. And this is amazing. The other thing, of course, is fees. Not a lot of people want to pay high fees. Usually for the retail trader, it's better for the fees to be inside the spread. Usually for the institutions, it's better to know the spreads, to know the core spread and the fees to be outside the spread. So not one model fits everyone. And again, you have regions. Maybe in some regions it's better to have the fees inside the spread. And for the audience who do not know, the spread is the difference of what people buy and sell. So again, it can depend from country to country. It can depend from retail to institutional, which is two different clusters. It can also depends on how you want to enter the market. So maybe someone is including commissions and you want to enter it with a different product. So it's many things.
It's interesting. You talked about customer experience, you talked about fees. I'm very keen to know, does education of this category play an important part, or now it is just commoditized across the globe?
I think education plays a very big part. And traditionally in our sphere, you start this education project and then you stop it in the middle, or you do not know how to upgrade it, or you do not know how to create the new journeys of this educational path, and it's under evaluated, I will say. So education needs definitely more attention. And if you take it more traditionally, I mean, people like to study, and nowadays you can go in an online university or in an online course and you can become certified. But when I did my online courses, for example, I can tell you that I have some online websites that I enjoyed it more than others. And this is very important, because if I enjoyed it more, it means I will do more certificates there. So you need to do education in a way that people will like being educated with these means. So this is what we are going to do also in BitDelta. So we're going to present it in a way that people enjoy the educational experience.
Make it more immersive, make it more experiential.
Yes.
Very interesting. That's going to be interesting. I just want to zoom into India, because you talked about the customer experience, you talked about education. You know, the general perception is actually also a reality that incredibly high potential, but incredibly complex. It's a country of many countries, in a manner of speaking. What makes it worth committing to India at this point of time from the group perspective?
I will start saying that simplicity is the ultimate complexity.
Can you repeat that again?
Simplicity is the ultimate complexity.
Very profound.
Yes. And we have seen it with Apple. I mean, Apple has done this, what looks like simple products, but it's not simple products at all. And if you've seen the documentaries of Steve Jobs, quality, design, how much passion he put on repackaging them in a way that people will be able to use them. And everything matters. I think, especially in India, where the demand of the client is as close to perfection as possible, and he wants the experience to be as detailed as possible, it's very important to have products that are of highly quality and will allow to have a support or a feedback. So it's very important. We are coming in India because we've seen many good things here. I mean, you have a population that is eager to learn, eager to try new things, eager to experiment. We've seen a population, and today I was talking to my friend in Bangalore. Bangalore is the new Silicon Valley of the world and the Silicon Valley of India. I believe this is the positioning of the city. Yeah. And they're bringing the best practices from the US, from the UK, from all of these places to India, and they're going to be not just scaling, hyper-scaling. The other beautiful thing that we've seen in India is that people want to see people succeed. And they're very passionate about these successful stories. So if you're able to build a platform and a gateway for someone to trade or someone to invest, and after a couple of years or after a shorter time period, he becomes successful and he learns this new skill, then why not?
Simply.
And this is very important. So India has been part of our hearts, and I still believe it's the right choice for us.
There's a word which is common between what we talk about and what we see on the BitDelta global side. There it is, trust every trade.
Yes.
or something to that effect. Here it's simple, secure, trusted.
Yes.
So why is trust so important? The word trust so important that it figures in every figure of speech which we talk about.
In this trip, I experienced trust from 5 or 6 different clusters of people. From the journalists to the policymakers to the clients to the PR outlets. I mean, trust is a very big thing. I mean, I thought in my head, if you just get someone to audit your systems, that might be enough. Apparently, it's not enough. You need to have your insurance. So if money is lost, the people somehow should be able to get their money back. This can be done from the technology provider. People think that these are done only from institutions giving insurances to financial services institutions, but this is not, because the beauty of digital assets is that part of it is technology. So the person that allows you to have this kind of technology should allow you also to have insurance. And then the other thing that I thought will be very, very big is, which I touched, was the audit. Audit apparently is not enough. If you have an auditor auditing your systems, it's definitely not enough. So you need to have still your processes. You need to have a capable CISO. Someone needs to be the chief information security officer, someone who is credible, someone who knows his fields. And even this person, having him in the organization, it actually brings credibility for the client, which I thought CISO is just another professional title. The other thing that I found also very, very interesting is the word of mouth in this country. If someone that has access to a lot of people has used your platform and really used it, not you paid for him to use it, really, really used it, and he found your platform to be a good one, this also brings security and credibility to the brand. So these are things that actually matters. And in my head, I thought, again, about the audit will be enough, because my background is also engineering. So if you audit the system and the system, it's enough. But you need layer upon layer upon layer. And this is what I said. You need your insurance, you need your audit, you need your CISO, you need the people who you can trust. And then in the end, you need to check it also yourself.
It's interesting. You talked about so many things. You talked about your background in engineering, but I guess what is also playing out is your background in behavioral finance.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And I could see some of those insights coming in. In fact, that probably gives me, that's the cue for the next question, which I might have is, how do you view this country, the demographics of this country, from a behavioral finance point of view? You know, you're sitting outside, this is first trip to India, you met a lot of people. Give us your impressions.
I mean, before coming to India, I thought that the older generation will not be as digital agnostic as I thought they will not be so big on technology.
But then you saw me, right?
Then I saw many people in the hotel. I mean, I saw a lot of people in the hotel, and of course I've spent a lot of time with you, Vikaas, as well. But I've seen them logging in the mobile, sending funds to their children, using Rails, talking about digital assets, talking also about investments. Gold is a very big thing in India. And nowadays we have also tokenized gold, which is a new thing, because with gold you need to store it, you need to sell it in an exchange, but with the tokenized gold you can just purchase it and sell it immediately. And we've seen that this world is getting bridged, and this was beautiful, to be honest. I could never imagine, for example, my mother buying Bitcoin in her mobile, because she doesn't even know how to switch the mobile on. And I gave her an iPhone, and when I call her, sometimes she answers, sometimes she doesn't. But is my mother, which is a little bit older, of course. And I believe that this digital transformation is here in India, and is here to stay. And we've seen this also on the remittance space. You guys are very big in remittance, because you will have your children studying in Canada, in Singapore, in America. And then some of them will be coming back, and their children we might be going. I mean, there is big populations of Indian people everywhere in the world. So Maybe this is where this began in the space of investing and transferring funds.
It's very interesting you mentioned that, because when I'm interacting with people and family offices and the like, 1 out of 2 times, there might be more than that, I think 4 out of 5 times, the impetus to invest in a virtual digital asset is usually because of Gen Next coming in and saying you should look at this.
Yes.
Why don't you look at a crypto coin? Why don't you look at a crypto asset? So it's very interesting, like you pointed out, the way
Yes.
this whole space is getting covered by the earlier generations as well as the upcoming generations. Very, very interesting.
Because if you go and sit now with an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and you say, "Oh, have you invested?" He will not say, "I have gold." He most likely will say, "I have a little bit of Bitcoin."
Absolutely. It's
Yes.
happening. It's happening. Yes, you're right.
And it says, "Okay, what else do you have?" And then maybe it says, "I'm thinking about Ethereum. I haven't invested yet because maybe it's a little bit more volatile." But maybe it will not say, "I want to invest in silver." And of course, equities is a little bit more complex. They might be thinking of equities maybe in the next couple of years, especially when they enter the university and they're doing this introduction to financial markets. Maybe this is when they will start their investment journey.
As a leader, how do you balance growth and risk, especially if they're pulling you in opposite directions? That's a very interesting point for me to know.
So there are some rules that we need to follow them. And these rules are very important. So we have to be compliant. We have to be compliant with regulators. We have to be compliant with the best standards. ISO, which you mentioned yesterday, is very important. We need to have our audits in place, and not just any audits, but audits that the regulators should understand. It has to follow the standards. And then you go back to risk, and risk in everything, starting from the dealing desk or from the finance. You need to follow the best practices. You need to have your policies in place. I think in accounting best practices, you still need to follow these, what are they called, these standard accounting practices for closing your books, because it has to follow the regulator standards, and each regulator is different. And you have the American standard, and you have the UK standard, and you have these global standards.
Okay.
And then the people who are closing the books are charters, chartered accountant, which is a very big thing in India as well. And then you have someone who is running your security, who is a CISO. With the CISO, it's a very big thing. If you're hiring someone who's a CISO, you need to check his certificate. Is it from a reputable institution?
Correct.
Does he have a date when he got this certificate? Is he doing his CPDs? And then you need to check, is he credible? And because he's going to be managing all of your systems, do I know who is this person? This is very, very important.
Also, I think it'd be nice if you can talk about the AAA grade security infrastructure which we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a while ago, we got one of the most reputable firms in the market to do a full audit on us. And I believe there is around 10 digital asset firms that have done this kind of audits. And we are one of the few that we went and we completely checked every single thing in our systems to make sure that we are fully secure and fully protected. And we are now very confident that we have done an amazing job. And we also have this bounty program, because as you know, with technology, you might have forgotten something. So we have a very big bounty program, and it's more than $1 million, and you can check it.
$1 million bounty.
$1 million bounty, yes. And you can check it also in our websites. And we welcome all of these white hackers. And we would like also to get feedback on our system, because we will be judged. And it's better to be open about this.
It's very nice. It's actually like the proverbial grain of sand in an oyster which will lead to a pearl. We have got a bounty.
Yes.
Come, white hackers, look at us, guide us, and then we'll give you this money.
You remember these Kaggle competitions?
Yes.
So if you were really smart, you will go and try to solve one of these quantitative problems, and you get the reward. It's a very similar thing. If you can manage to penetrate the system, you deserve a reward.
You talked about the future. One of the things which is increasingly coming in conversations, and probably people are talking about the fact that the future is here, are stable coins.
Yes.
Can you give us some idea about what stable coins are, and why is it figuring into so many conversations of late?
Stable coins have transitioned so much for the last years is unbelievably crazy. We've seen a stable coin in the past was an IOU. So there is a very big case study of a company that lost a lot of money in a hack. And to bring trust back and not to close down the companies, they issued IOUs, and it became one of the biggest stable coins in the world. And this is how the case study happened.
Oh.
And when you had this hyper scaling growth, then they had a lot of excess funds. So the investment in government bonds. So it became also acceptable for the governments to have this kind of stable coins. And then you say, okay, what about the policies of sending money abroad and sending money back in the country? And then you can burn a stable coin and you can reissue a new stable coin that is tracked if it goes to the country. Then you have new trends like yields. Yield.
Nice.
So a stable coin now, to be very competitive, it has to give you a yield.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, okay, why the old stable coins are not giving yield? Because they're trusted. So now if I want to buy a new stable coin, there is risk that the company might default. So I need to get some reward about investing my money in these new stable coins. And we have seen a couple of new stable coins, that RLUSD from Ripple. We have seen the stable coin from Circle. And Circle now is a publicly traded company. Mm-hmm. And congratulations to Circle. And we've seen a lot of new case studies. The other beautiful thing about the stable coins, they can be used as collateral to use more margin when you're trading. So it's a very big thing. But traditionally, the stable coins started from this, and then they were used for remittances. So you can send a stable coin to anywhere in the world, and he can receive it almost immediately in the blockchain.
Very nice. So this is very interesting, and you see them becoming more and more part of mainstream infrastructure, actually driving it forward. Do you think stable coins will be a disproportionately large portion of the of the crypto space later on?
I think stable coins were very, very hot in 2025.
Okay.
So now again, in 2026, again, everybody's talking about AI.
Okay.
So, and AI coins. They tried to launch AI coins in the past. It wasn't a very big success. Now again, there is back to the topic of AI. Because we have seen now Claude doing a lot of remote kind of work, and everybody's thinking, okay, if AI has developed a little bit, maybe there is a coin that allows to do a little bit more. Because don't forget, Ethereum was a sort of a coin that allows to write a language inside and a code. So maybe there is a lot of belief on AI again in the digital asset space.
So is AI something which is bubbling under the surface and people are not talking enough about it? Or what I'm trying to get at is there something which is bubbling under the surface, very high potential, but not being talked about enough right now, which you think could be something very big going forward? Is AI something? Yesterday, I heard a conversation about quantum cybersecurity because of quantum computing.
Yes.
And I gathered it's gathering momentum in terms of conversation. So what's bubbling under the surface, which you think might be a discussion point for a lot of people in 2027, 28?
I think AI is like the whale. It's like you're swimming or you're in a big boat or in a ferry, and you see a whale and you say, wow, there's a whale. Inside your head, you know there is a whale, but when you see this, is shocking. So AI is like this. I mean, of course, we're going to be hearing more about quantum computers. We'll be hearing more about virtual reality as well. We will be hearing more nowadays because these things are driven in these things. We're going to be hearing a lot about robotics, which is also based on AI and engineering. We will be hearing a lot about these old trends that are becoming new trends. Because if you remember from your childhood, similar to my childhood, robots were a very big thing. This is why I went and studied engineering. Robots were, wow, man. Okay, can we create something? Can we build something? All right, and now you can say, I can build something, and it can actually walk as well. It can understand how to level itself up. So this is, and then AI, before we were talking about automation. Let's automate stuff.
Correct.
Now we're talking about AI.
Correct.
So AI maybe is a form of automation. And then you're talking about general AI. Then you're talking about autonomous stuff. I mean, it's new trends and new things that we will be seeing in this lifetime.
You talked about retail.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I'm just going to be pulling that thread a bit, both retail and institutional, but first retail.
Yes.
I keep getting asked this question quite a bit. Where should one look at investing? Thankfully, the question is investing, not trading.
Yes.
So it's not like we're talking about a short-term trade. But
we had a very big discussion. What is the difference between trading and investing?
Well, in TradFi, it's very clear. Anything which is for a longer period of time is investing, where when you have patient capital and persistent capital, and something which is to generate capital is trading, is what is normally talked about. But
but what constitutes investing? Is it the 6 months or is it a year?
Well, in TradFi, it could be anything between 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think there.
Because in crypto, or
that's like a life.
If you hold an asset for 3 months, you might be considered as an investor and a long-term investor.
Good point. Very good point. Which is where I'm wondering, if somebody asks me where do I invest my money.
Yes.
I don't get into the tenure part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we ran some statistics here, and we realized that if one would have done a systematic investment plan, a dollar investment plan as they call it there, into a Bitcoin, 10,000 rupees a month for the last 10 years, that amount of 1.2 million would have 12 lakhs, let me put it that way. In crypto would have become 2.5 crores, whereas in the equities, it would have been around 40 odd lakhs. Okay. Now that's a vast difference. So obviously the interest for crypto is very high. So when people ask me, where do I invest?
Yes.
I'm actually at a loss at times to tell them. So I tell them normally to put it in a basket or something like that. So if this question were to come to you, and I'm not asking it as an investment advice, but going by the trends which you've seen over the last so many years, if retail investors make money, where do they normally invest, as a basket?
That's a very good question. To answer this, you can make money anywhere you're passionate for. The things that you can make money from. I mean, if you're a specialist, let's say in equities, you can make money in equities. If you're specializing, let's say, in technological firms, then you also can trade the index as well. If you're a specialist in cryptography, maybe cryptographic digital coins is for you. So the trends now, it differs from country to country. Especially in India, we've seen a lot of demand for gold and silver in the last couple of years. And when I mean couple, 1-2 years, I mean we have seen very, very big highs on this. We've seen from the younger generation a lot of demand on digital assets. A Bitcoin, I think, is by far the most hyped asset we have there, because compared to the rest, the volatility is not as high as the other ones. And they consider it nowadays as the digital gold. This is the new word they're using, the new phrase. I think the retail investor should first of all understand the time horizons, and he should not seek immediate rewards, because immediate rewards, he has a lot of risks associated with the investment strategy. And the good thing with the digital assets, you can buy and hold, which is it's a very famous word, HODL.
Hold on for dear life.
Yeah, no, HODL, someone, instead of writing hold and do not set, he was typing very fast and he wrote HODL.
HODL.
Yes, HODL. And nowadays, if something goes wrong, it's like HODL, just like hold your coins, do not sell them. So there's a very nice word as well, and it was fun. It's a meme nowadays.
Okay. When you talk to an institutional investor,
yes,
typically the conversation moves to cycles, to halving,
yes,
to liquidity. What do you think is going to be the perfect confluence of factors for institutional players in a country like ours to start seriously looking at crypto assets?
I mean, you have seen in the US in the last 2 years about big companies, publicly traded companies, that they have put either the whole inventory or a portion of their inventory in digital assets. Of course, if the asset was very risky, if you have a bad market cycle or you catch the market cycle in the downtrend, is hurtful for an organization. And we've seen that if you invest something that has a lot of volatility, it will be very devastating for the person that runs this kind of risks. I think it should be a balance, to be honest. And I do not know if it was yesterday or the day before when we touched upon family offices, and we said anywhere between 2 to 5% is a good idea to have digital assets. And again, from family office to family office, your risk preference might be different. I do not know what is gold and silver now for a family office. The preference, it might be around 10%.
Around 10.
Around 10.
Metals, commodities, around 10.
Around 10%. So yes, I would say digital assets can be anywhere between 2 to 5%. And even in big funds, I think they can do this.
Wonderful. One final question.
Please.
If I were to take this interview again 3 years from now at a different vantage point outside India, and I were to ask you this question, let's imagine we are sitting in the Swiss Alps and doing this interview, and I asked you, where do you think BitDelta is today, and what are the changes you've seen? What sort of crystal ball gazing would you have been?
We have very, very ambitious plans. We have extremely, extremely ambitious plans. And some of them I'm not even allowed to say. And they are very bold plans. I would like to think that we will be more out there. More information will be shared. We will be definitely driving the curve in some of the areas. I wouldn't be over-ambitious in saying we will be the best in everything. You cannot be the best in everything. But in some of the areas, we will be number one. And I can guarantee it for sure.
Wonderful. This has been an amazing conversation,
Thank you
Demetrios.
so much.
I quite enjoyed that. And we look forward to having you over in India more often. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Wow, what an amazing conversation we had just now. One thing which stays with me after this conversation is a line: simplicity is the ultimate complexity. And we've seen the simplest products, the simplest way of communicating being to be the most difficult ones to accomplish. And when I look back at this conversation, the way the whole conversation flowed, from crypto cards to crypto loans to yielding stable coins, to a lot more products and pointers which were discussed in an extremely simple and lucid manner. I quite enjoyed the conversation. One of the things which has also stayed back with me is the emphasis on trust. And I think this came across in a lot of aspects as the conversation went through. But two of the points which really stayed back with me, one was education leads to trust. And then the experiential piece of the customer, the moments of truth when it comes to the exchange. This is what leads to trust. This was again an amazing conversation, and it was very heartening to see the leader of a global organization focus on very simple home truths. And this augurs extremely well for the group and for the organization. Thank you so much for being here.
The views expressed in this podcast are for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or investment advice. Listeners are advised to conduct their own research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Crypto products and virtual digital assets are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss arising from such transactions. Prices are volatile, and users should conduct their own research before investing. For the purposes of this podcast, the terms crypto assets, digital assets, cryptocurrency, and virtual digital assets, VDAs, are used interchangeably and broadly refer to blockchain-based digital assets and cryptographic tokens.